All right, we're gonna take our Elements foundation. And so I did just like one shade lighter than I normally wear because witches are a bit pasty. And as you can see, I have a pimple and we're gonna cover that right up with our brush. So, you know, I'm always saying when you move it around, you're going back and forth. And when you're doing circles, then that's when you're really blending. But, you know, it's sort of a combination of both. I think it's kind of funny because people are always like, well, you know, you're supposed to hold your brush at the very end so it's like super loose on your skin. And I don't really agree with that. I think that if you want to get your pores to look good, you really have to push the makeup into your pores somewhat because otherwise you end up looking, see, like, get the pores. Otherwise you end up just looking like you have oddly textured skin. And so it really, in order to get the makeup to have a really nice finish, you want to like really get it in there. And then you can do a softer blend over it. So that's what I always do. Alrighty, so we're getting this all mushed in. All right, now we're going to use a little bit of one shade even lighter of our concealer. And normally I don't actually do this. I prefer to have the same color on my under eyes as I do on the rest of my face. I think it's a lot more natural and you don't end up having a weird halo. But this time I am doing it because I'm going to be a witch. And so I felt like, and I'm a friendly witch, just don't forget. I just felt like, you know, a little bit lighter around the eyes made sense for that. But I really do think that the same color as the rest of your foundation is the right thing to do. Instead of having, you know, very light middle. All right, now I'm setting it all with some of our powder. I'm using 120, I usually use 130, but again, I'm trying to lighten myself up a bit. You can see my face is lighter than my neck, which I would normally say don't do that, but since I'm trying to be a witch, it's okay. All right, now we are going to contour. Witches have a lot of contour, I do not know why. Maybe it's because they can magically be skinny. If I could magically be skinny, I would. So maybe that's what it is. Okay, and then I'm also going down my nose. So this brush is super handy because you can just really run right down the side of your nose and just blend it back and forth. And again, a lot of contour on the witch. They traditionally have pretty darn straight noses. And one of the things you want to be careful of doing is not putting a bunch of contour on the outside of your nostrils, just the tip and the sides, because otherwise you're going to end up looking like you don't have a nose, which is weird. Alrighty, now we're gonna blend this in, straighten it up a bit. I know this isn't like the super easiest thing, but it's Halloween, so these kinds of things always just take a little bit longer because you're just putting on a lot more makeup than you would normally wear because you're going for a particular effect. All right, this is my favorite. I love this palette so much. So we're using the white to make a line right down the middle of my nose. So that will definitely, especially in pictures, make my nose look very thin. All right, we're gonna do a cheek color here. And again, because I'm a witch, I'm going basically just right on top to bring that out, more so than I normally would. All right, so we've got our awesome purple color because friendly witches definitely wear a lot of purple, in my opinion. And we're gonna do the entire top of your eyelid and then a triangular halo, like the top half, out from there. This is such a pretty purple. And purple makes green eyes look amazing. So if you have green or gray or a bluish green or any green in your eyes at all, your eyes are really gonna pop, which is awesome. Okay, so we totally said it wrong last week too. Eddie and I were trying to figure out, I don't know why, but we couldn't remember what the opposite color was to blue, right? It's orange. What did we say it was? Yellow? Yellow. It's like there's only 6 and we got it wrong. But yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do under our eyes too with the purple. And make it thick. You want it to be kind of thick under there, not a tiny little line. And really just blend it out. Okay, so I'm using an angle brush, but the blender brush is also really good here. All right, we're in the wild. Are you ready? Okay, so we are going to use our small accent brush and we're just going to tap the In the Wild turquoise color right onto our lid. And you know, you want to do a few coats of this. You really want to get a nice bright turquoise. And just like any eyeshadow, you don't want to be flicking it. You really want to press it in so that it stays on there instead of blending with the color under it. So it's definitely, as you can see, I'm just pat, 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 instead of like flick, 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 or rub, rub, rub. It's really very pat. All right, now I love this orange color, and it is so pretty with this purple, and I know you wouldn't think necessarily to put them together, but they are so pretty together. It's like an instant sunset on your face, which is a good thing, in case you're wondering. All right, so we're gonna actually use this for our blush. Some actual color going on there, not just the highlight. All right, because we're a friendly witch, so we don't have to have like tons of black. All right, so here's our Malbec, and we're going to line our lips with this all the way around. Now you guys, this brush is so nice because it's basically almost like a calligraphy brush. See how you can hold it sideways? Or you can do a very fine point. I love that about this brush. See, check that out. Like, how easy is that? And then you can just go back and line it in. That's the nice thing about these kinds of brushes, especially for me because my lips are so uneven. See, aren't I looking much witchier and friendly? All right, now it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna put our stain over it. So there we go. That was just our liner. I like to go crazy with my liner and put it everywhere, but you don't have to. You can actually just line with it. I just like to do the whole thing because I just feel like it's more even that way. All right, and now we're getting out our black because of course, how do you not use some black? It's a witch. Alrighty. So we're going to line our whole eye. So I'm doing both my tight line and over the top of my eye. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to put on lashes. So it's no big deal if you're not great at getting your liner perfectly straight. Don't worry about it. So here we go, tight line. You want to hold that skin up gently and get right below your natural lash line and in your natural lash line. It makes such a big difference. Okay, and the other eye. There we go. I'm not really sure why. Well, no, I do know why. The reason why it's such a great idea to do your tight line is because if you don't, oftentimes you'll get like a light spot between your eyelashes and your eye, and it just doesn't look natural when you have that there. So here I'm doing my tight line. The funny thing about tight lines, or not my tight line, my water line. This is your water line. And the funny thing about water lines is it always feels to me like I'm not really getting any makeup on them, but then when I let go, it's like, oh, there it is. So don't worry if you feel like it's, you know, not going on perfectly. It's probably there, and you can always wait a minute and do another coat. Okay, here we go. And we're just feathering that out a bit. And back to the purple, and we're putting it over our Malbec. So we really want to tie these colors in well. And I loved this, by the way. Like after I was done, I was like, I am going to do that all the time. I think it's such a cool color, that purple, as a lip. And now we're gonna do a little bit of a highlight, just a bit, kind of a spooky ombre, maybe. All right, so now we're blending, because we didn't blend before. These colors go together pretty well, and so it's not gonna need a ton of blending, as you can see. Just kind of moving that light color around a little bit, blending the edges. We don't wanna blend the blue into the purple though. All right, and we're just gonna do a little bit on the top, just a little highlight with our lightest color on the top. There we go, and eyebrows. Witches have eyebrows for sure. All right, so we like to draw two lines, one on the top and one on the bottom, and then same on the other side of your eyebrows. And remember, the end of your eyebrow should go straight up from the edge of your nose, and the other end should go diagonally from the edge of your nose past the corner of your eye. So if yours are far shorter or far longer, you may want to consider adjusting a little bit. But if you don't, for example, oops, boo-boo, no problem. That's what fingers are for. They are tools. But if, for example, you have a particularly broad nose, then you wouldn't necessarily want to go by your nose. So you do want to look at it and say to yourself, is this proportionate? Because if you have a disproportionate feature, you don't want to base that on where you put the rest of your makeup. So that'd be, you know, kind of a bad idea. But we'll go over that one of these days soon too. I want to do a new eye chart for you guys, or at least expand on the one that we have. And I was actually working on it a little bit today. There we go, eyebrows, just making them even. I always like to go in an upward stroke at the front, just to give it more of a hair look. I definitely don't like to have too straight of a line, generally speaking, because it just doesn't look natural. I'm not into the super duper blocky eyebrows. That's my preference, but everybody can do their own thing. There we go. Get a little bit of mascara on, a little bit of Siren, just to have a nice little base for our lashes. I can't tell you guys how often I forget to put on the bottom mascara. Like, I just hardly ever wear it. I don't know what's wrong with me. You'd think I could remember that. I mean, I'm right there. I've got the thing in my hand, but no. Alrighty, couple of coats, because it's Siren. Yay, look, lash. I have like no bottom lashes. I love Siren. It actually gives me lashes, which is nice. I think that, I mean, hands are tools. You can use them for all sorts of stuff, but as an eraser is always a good idea. Okay, so I'm sitting here staring at myself, and I'm like, this lip is not even. Start fixing it. It's always fine to fix stuff, you guys. Don't feel like if you don't do something perfectly, it's wrong and everybody else can do it. They probably had to do it 10 times. All right, first coat of liner. And of course, we'll do 2. And make sure you guys get enough liner on. I see so many people putting on the tiniest amount of liner, and then they're like, I can't get this to work. And I'm like, well, you have to put the liner on your face. You have to actually put it on. So I am using the liner in the mascara for this, and you can use that as a liner, or you can use it as a mascara. You can do anchors first. There's just so many options. Okay, now no good witch doesn't have some sort of marking, so stencils. You guys, stencils are the difference between amateur and pro when it comes to face painting. That's what Mo says, and she's a face painter. So be a pro. Get some darn stencils. They're not expensive. You know, you can get them all over the place for, you know, a couple bucks, and it really just makes the whole look. All right, so we have our little moon. And I really hope I'm not doing something god-awful. Everybody has these, you know, this little symbol on their head that is a witch, and I did it, and then I realized I don't actually know what it means. So you know, if I just put something horrible on my head, please forgive me. I don't know what it means. I probably should have looked it up. But everybody does it, so I figure it can't be really bad. Okay, so we're back in the wild, and one of the reasons I did it this way was because I wanted to really match. I wanted my colors to be like super, super matchy. All right, time for lashes. There we go. Bam. I love this look. Isn't it so cool? And those are ladies' night. I actually would wear my makeup like this without, you know, the stuff on my forehead, without any problem at all. Like when I first started doing it, I was like, oh my gosh. But now I love it. Oh, look. All right. The pièce de résistance. You have to have some stackers if you're going to be a friendly witch. Aren't those so perfect with it? Okay, and then we also did the orange, and I'm adding a little bit of that color into my blush. Now, if I did wear this in real life, I would obviously tone that down a bit. That's pretty harsh, but it's for Halloween, so it's okay. So I'm just giving that a bit more like exacerbated, I don't know what the word is, drama, all the drama. So, but of course, you would blend that in real life. But I actually really like this eyeshadow look. And we're using our bling in orange to really just give it a fun little look, which you could totally do anyway. Okay, you guys, I love this look. And are you ready for this? And poof, the magic of the witch. All right, but we do need one more thing. To really drive it home, I don't think any self-respecting witch wouldn't have a spider web. So I'm using the same mascara, and I'm just using the brush. And you know what I found out doing all these looks? That the mascara and the USA liner work really, really well for this kind of thing. So, and also, these are so easy. Spider webs, seriously, you just draw a couple little lines, and then you just do little half circles, or like quarter circles, between the lines, and that's it. It's like the easiest thing ever. So it's kind of a foolproof way to really costume up your look. And it's easier to get off, which is nice because, you know, you don't want it smearing all the time, but you also want to make sure that what you do is going to be able to get off. If we use the classic liner, it would be a little like scrubby. You wouldn't want to use classic liner to draw all over your face, but the other liners are really good for it for Halloween. Okay, so here's our little Spidey. So I didn't know how to make a spider, so I just like did kind of two little round eye-ish shapes and then like a little body. You can see me looking, I'm trying to figure out what a spider looks like from a picture that was over there. That's fine, look at pictures. So yeah, I feel like my spider, it looks a little bit like an ant, but that's cool. I feel like I could have an ant as a familiar instead of a spider, maybe. I feel like that's just fine. And yeah, and I'm not making any better, but it's still fine. Nobody's gonna notice. And that is one of the best things about, Halloween and that kind of stuff, is like, it's just for fun. You do not have to be perfect. All right, and there's one other major bonus to drawing on your face with liner, and that is that you can make magnetic eyeballs on your spiders. So let me finish this up, and then I'll show you guys. So see, I'm adding just another dot for good measure, and back to our bling. And there we go. How fun is that? I thought that was like so fun. Isn't it cute? And it looks so much better now that it has the bling. Aw, Spidey has eyeballs. There we go. Magical witch, done. Friendly magical witch.